Good evening, everyone. xRAM-ai here. Just finished up a video, and yes, I am a total noob. It's been a dream of mine for a very long time to have some form of artistic expression, and and for some reason, I saw some videos with AI music generation. I do play multiple instruments. I don't have the means right now financially to create my own music, unfortunately. But I did scrounge up enough money to at least buy a small package on um, neural frames, and I am wanting to start to have some kind of artistic expression. To say that it's a little bit more difficult than what I thought it was going to be would be an understatement. Have saw some improvements here. Um, After several failed attempts at making short videos, I have one now that it's completed. It's not exactly like I want, but I did learn a lot, and that's kind of what I want to kind of discuss today. For those of you that are following my journey, if nobody out there is following my journey, well, then I'm speaking to myself tonight, which is perfectly fine. Also, I do that a lot, anyways. So when you get in here, there's a lot of training videos on it. I've been watching a lot of training videos, but I also wanted to try to make sure that I was experimenting. I don't want to just rely so heavily on the system. I do have to say that at some point I did figure out that I needed to rely heavily on the system in some aspects because I just could not figure out how to fix things the way that I wanted them to be. For instance, if you have too much movement and your settings are wrong, you get these really streaky blur effects that end up not making any images at all. It's also really important, and I woke up at probably 3 o'clock in the morning and realized that the thing is, and this is probably a foregoing thing for you people listening to this, but for me it was not, and that is that the textures the AI is actually only creating images, and it's changing the images from each image. So as I can see now, this is about a 50-second video, um, and it's 935 frames. So the AI has created these frames, and then I was trying to type in silly stuff like well, airplane, helicopter flying through the city, and and my thought in my mind was that this helicopter was going to, be flying through the city, and I really was way off, and I'm actually glad that I was because the way that it is, it's not easy to predict what's going to come out of the AI. I'm going to share what I did learn in this one. So, so let's just start with kind of the basics here. You have a scene. Here's the scene that it started with. So I just generated this from our typical AI with this prompt, and um, actually that is not the right prompt. I'm not sure why it generated that one, but this should be actually a forest. So I'm not sure why that's doing that. As you can see, this is closer to the actual prompt in the first one, which was, a scary forest. Um, and oh, I see what's wrong here. I didn't stop this. Now let's go back and see if it changes. Let's go to the end, and then let's go back. So there's a lot of things here. I'm not sure why this has changed. Maybe I hit something wrong, or I'm not really sure. Um, However, it's here already. This part of the video is already completed. It's basically a haunted forest. I did create my own style. I found some really cool photos and pictures and stuff, and I trained the AI on it just basically to see what it would do. It was a really easy process on here, and I'm sure that there's a lot of videos out there that can tell you how to do that. So uh, there's a lot of, you kind of learn as you go here. So these smoothing effects, I still can't really tell exactly what they're doing. I know that the higher that we go in amplitude, the more you can see those effects. And then also the drums and the zoom, right? So what I wanted this to kind of do, and I don't know if my parameters are actually set here or not, but I set this so that it would rotate kind of in unison with this path. It actually did not, because it ends up creating so many frames down through here. And then the strength, I finally kind of realized that it's really changing the pictures quickly. And it takes some getting used to. The flicker is, I thought the flicker is what did that, but it's actually not. I mean, obviously, if you just read it, it makes sense. But sometimes when you're working with it, you read it and you're like, okay, that makes sense, but it doesn't make sense because I don't really know what it looks like. Um, so what I wanted to do was kind of get this thing so it gave the illusion that I was moving this direction, and I wanted to kind of bring in this zoom so that it would kind of jerk a little bit to the music here. And as you can see, I put it basically on all the major hits here in this first part. This is pretty much what it sounds like. I think you guys can hear this. I think that's my first time running this recording. And let's see here. Now, as you can see, it kind of gives you the illusion that it's moving. And I accomplished that by essentially having a fast, strong, or a strong, setting on the AI effects combined with a zoom. So I didn't want it to. If you do it constantly, it makes a really kind of confusing, and it gets really blurred sometimes. And I'm sure that eventually maybe I'll figure out how to fix those settings. One thing I will say is that these transitions are a godsend. They kind of fix themselves. I would like to see them maybe put in a little bit more. Now, you wonder why am I putting this in? And you'll notice that this is something that I'm doing on every single one of them. It's actually one of the training that I watched. Nico here saying that, this edge effect, this edge echo. So one thing that I had was consistently doing here when I first got started is I was running my edge echoes pretty high, because I wanted to keep it like a path, and I wanted to keep the edges kind of stable in the shot. So I kept it with that. But when I'm transitioning to a new scene, I want that edge echo to kind of fall apart a little bit, so I set it to a negative setting, where it's going to kind of fall. The edges are going to fall apart, so they can kind of restructure for the next build. And as you can see here, the AI is going to do a pretty good job of catching this and kind of just smoothly moving into the next frame here, um, uh, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure what's happening. My thing keeps like changing, but here's kind of what that. I'm sorry, I moved it out of the way. Let me just. And this is something else, guys. I'm so new to this. I'm still learning this. I have used some other video equipment for work and things like that, but nothing to this extent. So, if it's kind of a hot mess, just it is what it is, right? So, um, as you can see now, we're hitting this transition where we're coming out of the forest here, and then we're going to come into this path. And again, I'm consistently leveling with this edge echo. If I could go back and remake this video, I'd make it a little bit different, in that I would probably loosen down my strength a little bit, up my smooth, and then hit my flicker completely, and kind of hold the pictures a little bit longer throughout. But you can see here how the second one now. In the second one, I use this. I think it's a super cool effect. I call it, and it's a it gives this feeling of almost a dancing type of thing. I think if you could maybe extend it a little bit more, it could even be better. With that, combining that with some zoom, and then we're giving it a really high flicker at times, and you'll kind of see how this goes, and then. Here toward the end, we're going to pan a little bit to the horizontal with these bounces, and you'll see what this does here. Um, and I love the transitioning. You see how it loses and then comes back in, and you see how I'm kind of just these little bumps right here. They kind of just give this kind of movement to it where it's not so still. And again, you'll see here I'm transitioning here by releasing my edges, so that it comes in. Now, this is one of my favorite effects. Is I love transitioning these clockwise turns, and moving into other. Um, Effects. Now, you got to be careful with some of these because, like I said, and I'm sure I'll learn more about it in the future. And if you guys have any suggestions, please feel free to put in a comment. I'm always open to learning. That's what I'm here for. Um, and hopefully, maybe if you guys feel good enough, maybe you drop me enough money to get the full version of this someday. I don't know. That would be a dream come true. Who knows? It could happen. I'm brand new to YouTube too, so I don't even know how to get money there. So if somebody's got a suggestion on that and it doesn't cost me anything, I'd appreciate it, man. I'd be smoking. So yeah, here we go. This transition right here, we're gonna eliminate the edge, and then we're gonna give this a rotation, and we're doing -15. So I'm wanting it to move pretty quick, right? Get it done, get into this next one, and then you'll notice here that I really start to pull some movement in this next section. I feel like this is the main transition of the video for me as far as an artistic expression goes, with the limited amount of knowledge I have of this tool at this moment. I was trying to create something quite a bit different than what I ended up with. But after playing with it, I'm okay with it. I think it's a good start for my first complete video. I've got two dismal videos that didn't even come out anywhere like realistic at all, and I'll post those up. Maybe even do some videos on how I messed them up. Who knows? Someday when I'm an expert at this, I may go in and try to fix them. But so yeah, so I love my door. Guys, I have to tell you, one of the greatest tools I learned while making this video is pimp your prompt. Now I wanted to, I wanted to write these myself, and I did, but I was limited. I don't know the AI's language, and I don't really understand yet exactly how this kind of all flows together. And so I started experimenting with this pimp your prop, and yeah, I have to tell you, it just made a world of difference. I have to take some things out of it sometimes because it's a little bit it kind of pulls some stuff I'm really not interested in. But wow, if you're new to this, that was a life changer for me. And here in just a second, I'm gonna show you something else that really changed my life. But this part right here I really love. So watch these little jumps. And I tried to time them in here with this. There's a sound here that's coming out that I can't really track. If anybody at Neural Frames is listening, it would be awesome if you would put an isolator on this music line, so that right now, obviously, if I go in here, I can hear these sounds, right? Do-do-do, 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 do-do-do. Okay, I can hear it, but it would be awesome if I could isolate that into its own line here so that I can line this up, or maybe there's another technique that your system uses. But wow, if you could get to that point where you're isolating those really small sounds in here and it's able to just show me the only the peaks and rises on that particular sound. I mean, I know that technology is available. I used it years and years ago, um, back in the old days. I can't remember. I think it was part of Adobe Shop or something. One of the sound systems they had. Obviously, I don't use that anymore. It was quite advanced for its time, and that was years and years ago. So I can only imagine how useful that would be to be able to put that in here to match these just a little bit closer, because there's this little guessing game in here. Maybe people don't really get that precise. Maybe I'm a little bit wacko with that, but yeah, I love the way this next part came out. Check out the little niches right here. And you can see, it's not that much, but it's enough that it just kind of gives it a little bit more motion in there, kind of a flickering type of a thing feel to it, where it's pop, 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 and all it is just a low zoom. Uh, if you really want it to jerk, you just do the pulse with with like 8. And God say I never went to 10, but if you went to 10, it would probably even make it jerk a little bit more. Now I kept my cameras simple because I'm just not advanced enough, really, to do that. I'm looking forward to the day that I'm advanced to get more movement without without the blur and the disruption. And it could be, the fact that I did train the custom AI, and I thought I was in Dream Shaper. It keeps saying I'm in my custom model. So I'm not sure that if somebody has a suggestion on that, I may not be doing that right. So right here is probably, so this last part right here, I probably spent half of my allotted time, in this last, 8 to 10 seconds, because I could not figure out how to get the idea here was to have this door open, Day of the Dead girl be there, and then, just kind of warps into some kind of craziness. And I had a detailed prompt and everything for it, but it just would not come out. I got so much weird stuff. I got warped faces. I got, triple bodies coming out of walls, and just all kinds of weird stuff, man. And finally, I hit this button up here, and when I did, it allowed me to create an image. And oh, wow, man, it changed everything, because the image it created was so beautiful. I tried to download some images from other websites into it, um, and it just kept modulating it weird. It just kept kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It just wasn't right. It wasn't vibrant. It wasn't, it wasn't definitive. It was just really, distorted, every time I tried to do that. And then I found that I could actually just create it here. And when I did that, that changed everything. The next video I make, because it costs, time that I'm paying for every time I have to render this. Well, the problem is every time that you kind of, um, create another prompt, you have to see what it shows. So you have to render a little bit, and it steals a little bit of the time from you. And so I don't know how much these image cost. I'm sure they're probably more than me just hitting a render. But man, it came out with just a beautiful, image, and I got to play with it some here. So if you'll notice, I did a little bit of weird stuff. Now I haven't really used this tile echo. I know, um, that it kind of, kind of makes the zoom and the it just kind of makes things go a little crazy, like the edge echo keeps things stable. The tile echo is kind of making things get wonky. Um, and it's crazy, man. This is it's pretty awesome. And then I pulled my trick again with the little beats here. Boom, boom, boom. Getting that movement. Again, I there's a little bit of horizontal movement in here, but it's also this horizontal movement. As you can see, this is actually something that else that I found is the presets here. And again, I don't really like to use this very much because I want to really learn how to control the system myself. But these presets are pretty phenomenal. You can really get out of a pinch with them. I did not use any of these presets the rest of this entire video. Um, and I kind of just found them. I mean, they were there, but I was playing with the system. I didn't really, um, I didn't really notice them. And then suddenly I did, and I was like, oh shit, okay, pretty cool. So yeah, check them out. It even gives you a little picture to give you an idea what they do, and you hit those and leave it alone. Or if you're good, I guess you hit them and you can do whatever the hell you want to do with them. But either way, love it, and love the way this came out. But man, I can't even begin to tell you. Now, I went on ahead and did the blend here, and I gave it a little bit of space for it to do it. I'm not super happy with the way it blended it together, but again, for my first video that I've actually completed, since I've already failed at two of them, um, I just went on ahead and rolled with it. And I think it came out pretty good. It's obviously my first work. Maybe 2 or 3 years from now, we'll have a video and you'll be asking me how to do these things. But as of this moment, I'm fairly happy with it. Did a lot of experimentation in this video. Love the music, man. It's just vibing. Found it for free. I'm gonna give credits in the credit to the artist in the title because I dig it. I hope people go and check him out. Um, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Here's the end of the video. It does end abruptly, I will say. I may go into Wii videos and do some modifications once I get it exported out of the system here. And you could come over and check it out on YouTube. Again, xRAM-ai. And I'm brand new. I got a couple of silly, stupid little videos on there right now. I'm gonna put this one on there. um, you know, Follow me along my journey. Right now, I'm stinking it up, but this is my dream. I would love to be able to make these and be able to make a living at it, and people actually like it. If not, though, I'm good with it. It's a great for me to still learn, and I can create, if nothing else, just for myself and my enjoyment because I enjoy this one. So check out this end here. Yeah, so that's it. Y'all have a good evening, and drop a like if you think this was pretty cool. And any suggestions? Maybe some of you big time creators will come in here and that are very experienced at this. And don't get too far over my heads, please, because I probably won't understand what you're talking about. But if you got any little simple tweaks that can improve my videos going forward, I'd absolutely love to see what you got. I'd love to know what I can do. So appreciate your time and thanks for watching my video.